Hi, here's Katherine Bihlmeier. You know, I'm a mentor and a coach and a body worker teacher of different modalities of working with bodies, with lovely people. And I also am an author of the book of The Soul on Fire. It's in German, in English, and in French. So wherever you want to grab it, please just comment, and I send you the link where you can get it, or I can even order it for you if I have all your information. Great. It's an amazing book, very practical, with lots of practical questions to shift your perspective, to shift your possibilities into more possibilities, and also to create more what you truly desire. Of course, with your divinity and with your source, your holy source. Great. Today we have the exercise number 43. And God is my source. I cannot see apart from Him. What does that mean? I cannot see apart from Him. Well, if you're doing the exercise, you heard probably already from the mosquitoes are coming, and that when we look with our normal eyes here, we filter everything. We have a lot of filter from our, I call it ego spirit, ego mind, which is the filters are coming from how we have been brought up, our beliefs, constructs, concepts, culture, experience. So then we look always into the world with this filter. And also with the ego mind, we have a very limitation in seeing, really seeing. And when you start to come back to what you truly are and live more your light and your love and your gratefulness and your aliveness even, then, and live more from your divinity, then you will see that everything what you see with the eyes of God from your heart, because the heart for me is the bridge to your divinity. And so when you start to do the exercises, you come back more and more to what you truly are. You come back to your holy source, to the oneness, to the infinite possibilities. And also then you start to see everything in light and love, every person, everything you look, because the definitions are not longer, and judgments of that are not longer here and keeping you separate. So it's like you look at a tree, in which you call a tree from your ego mind perspective, what you have been taught. And with that, very often we don't really, we have still a separation between us and the tree. But when you look out through the eyes of God, then there is no separation. There is no separation. It's like the tree dissolves into the true energy of that light. And it's like kind of as you would feel, I mean, that's my experience, okay? So I don't know how you will experience that. But it's kind of as the tree would be in you. as you would be the tree. And even there is no tree anymore. Everything is then just light. That's a really funny experience. And every time when I really practice and I take really time, or I do my evening and morning practice where I really go let myself sink and go into a deep realm of heaven, of divinity, of divine, then and then when I open my eyes, it's really a flash of amazing light. Yes, so that's what it's called. I cannot see apart from him, because God and the source, God source, God as a source, is showing you your light, and also what is behind or in a perception. When you leave the perception of the ego mind, you will sense that, you will feel it. You will feel also the love in that. Right? Good. So perception is not an attitude of God. His is the realm of knowledge, of wisdom. Yet he has created the Holy Spirit as the mediator between perception and knowledge. Without this link with God, perception would have replaced knowledge forever in your mind. With this link with God, perception will become so changed and purified that it will lead to knowledge. That is the function as the Holy Spirit sees it. Therefore, there is its function in truth. That is the function in truth. In God, you cannot see perception, has no function in God, and does not exist. Yet, in salvation, which is in the undoing of what never was, perception has mighty purpose. Made by the Son of God for an unholy purpose, it must become the means for the restoration of His holiness to His awareness. Sorry. Perception has no meaning, yet does the Holy Spirit give it a meaning very close to God's. Healed perception becomes the means by which the Son of God forgives his brother and thus forgives himself. You have probably heard heal yourself. If you forgive yourself, then you forgive also the world and your brothers and sisters. You cannot see apart from God because you cannot be apart from God. That's also a good one. Even when we are not conscious connected, or even when we're unconscious, God is still with us. Still is everywhere where we go. God is with us. This energy, this source is always here. Whatever you do in Him, because whatever you think with His mind. If vision is real, and it is real to the extent to which it shares the Holy Spirit's purpose, then you cannot see apart from God. 3 5-minute practice periods are required today. One as early and one as late as possible in the day. The third may be undertaken at the most convenient and suitable time that circumstances and readiness permit. At the beginning of this practice periods, repeat the idea for today to yourself with eyes open. So you start with eyes open. Then glance around you for a short time, applying the ideas specifically to what you see. 4 or 5 subjects for this phase of the practice period are sufficient. You might say, for example, God is my source. I cannot see this desk apart from Him. God is my source. I cannot see that picture apart from Him. Or you can even come and, of course, name yours, but you also can do that with people and name them by the name or by whoever is standing in front of you. And you can, of course, let that run, this thought, while this person is standing in you, with you, being with you. God is my source. I cannot see that person apart from Him. Over this part of the exercise period should be relatively short. Be sure that you select the subjects for this phase of practice indiscriminately without self-directed inclusion or exclusion. For the second and longer phase, close your eyes. Repeat today's idea again, and then let whatever relevant thoughts occur to you add to the idea in your own personal way. Thoughts such as, I see through the eyes of forgiveness. I see the world as blessed. The world can show me myself. I see my own thoughts, which are like God. So if you repeat this kind of, you will see you become clearer. That's a possibility. You sink into your holiness, into this space. Peace and stillness is yours again. And you might feel God's love and feeling enveloped by this love. Great. Any thought related more or less directly to today's idea is suitable. The thoughts need not bear any obvious relationship to the idea, but they should not be in opposition to it. If you find your mind wandering, if you begin to beware thoughts which are clearly out of accord with today's idea, or if you seem to be unable to think of anything, open your eyes. Repeat the first phase of the exercise period and then attempt the second phase again. Do not allow any protected period to occur in which you become preoccupied with irrelevant thoughts. Return to the first phase of the exercises as often as necessary to prevent this. In applying today's idea in the shorter practice periods, the form may vary according to the circumstances and situations in which you find yourself during the day. When you are with someone else, for example, try to remember to tell him silently, God is my source. I cannot see you apart from Him. That's exactly what I was saying before. This form is equally applicable to strangers as it is to those you think are closer to you. In fact, try not to make distinctions of this kind that, to this idea should also be applied throughout the day to various situations and events that may occur, particularly to those which seem to distress you in any way. For this purpose, apply the idea in this form: God is my source. I cannot see this apart from Him. If no particular subject presents itself to your awareness at the time, merely repeat the idea in its original form. Try today not to allow any long periods of time to slip by without remembering today's idea and thus remembering your function. That means practice, 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 fun, have fun, have fun, have fun, and rejoice in God. Rejoice in you. Thank you for being part of our miracle-minded family. And remember, if this practice is fun and contributing to shift you, and it doesn't matter in which situation you are, if you're fearing, if you have a Hollywood film in your ego mind running and with lots of drama, please just take this daily exercise and repeat the idea of today. It doesn't matter which one you take. And sometimes I even go and ask my Holy Spirit which exercise is gonna help me to forgive, to come back fast. And then I go through these exercises, and then something is more enlightened, and then I take that, and it always enlightens me again, brings me back home into my heart, in this love and joy. Great. Looking forward to read your comments, to answer your questions if you have any, and please share that. Please comment. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing it, and thank you for being part of all and contributing. Every time you run this exercise in you, a lot of people are having ease also and coming back to their hearts and becoming more peaceful. Thank you. And because remember, together we are the miracles that we want to see in the world. Big, 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 big hugs. Warm hugs from me. And enjoy and have fun. Ciao.